Okay, after quite some time, I'm finally getting around to showing off the RAMAC2. This is, of course, the disk array that goes with the ES9000, which you could see right to the side there. Okay, RAMAC2. That's an interesting name. Why 2? Well, RAMAC, of course, was the name of IBM's very, very first disk drive. And yes, I should be saying DASD, D-A-S-D. That's IBM speak for hard disk, but, you know, we're just going to say drive. RAMAC was a product way, way back in the late-ish 50s. And yes, it was more or less the first successful hard disk. And yeah, you always have to put first in quotes because nothing's absolute. But yeah, it was a revolutionary product. And yeah, hey, discs are still with us to this day. No, I don't have a RAMAC. I don't know if there's a complete surviving RAMAC out there. There are certainly big chunks of RAMACs, but I don't know if there's a complete one out there. Maybe. But in any case, in the, when was this? Mid-90s, they came out with this disk array and decided to call it the RAMAC2. Now, the machine type is officially 9394, and the drives are 9395. Now, this is a Model 2, and, well, we're going to take a quick look at it. Now, the first thing you can see is it's kind of the same standard cabinet as the ES9000. Well, it's not quite standard, because you notice it's a little wider. Why IBM did that, I don't know. They were doing such a good job of making everything in the standard cabinet, like the ES9000, and yeah, you just threw in modules how you needed to. But I don't know if they ran out of room with the RAMAC2 and needed a few more inches on the side. I don't know, but you can see, yes, it is a little wider. All right, now you can see we have 6 drawers. There can be 8 in here. You can have a minimum of 2 drawers. No, I think you can actually have a minimum of 1 drawer. Each drawer has a couple of modules in it, and each module contains a couple of discs, and we will show those off because I have actually a spare module in pieces, which I can show rather than take these things apart because they're kind of a pain in the neck. But this is how it came to me, and for some reason they didn't need a full set of drawers. That's okay. Now, capacity for this, I don't recall, but it's pretty high for the mid-90s. The actual discs are 3.5 inch, and well, we'll show those off. But let's take a look at this. All right, moving over. Excuse the mess. The control panel. Unfortunately, this does not have the really neat control panel. There were several options for control panels, and this is kind of the simple one. Oh well, not too much in the way of blinky lights. We've got various power control, so you can local power or remote power. Yes, you can have, in most of these IBM mainframes, you can have the actual processor control the power to the devices all around it. So you can do it either way. This is how you set it up. We've got all sorts of things. Yes, this is an SCON device, although you could also get this, I believe, in a channel, old bus and tag channel configuration. We look at the drawers. Yes, you get 2 of these modules. You can see at some point there was a slight change. They changed the gray around the switch. Interesting. And not much to see here. Enable, disable, and a ready light. These are 9395 B23s. And of course, like I said, the whole rack is a 9394. Now, of course, it is IBM, so there are hidden panels. So let me get my little Allen key out here. There we go. Goodies inside. All right. Well, that's neat. A keyboard with an LCD display and a floppy. This is how you do maintenance on this. You could do an awful lot with this machine. I should say that this disk array, like things typical IBM mainframe, is extremely fault tolerant, and you could pretty much take a hammer to just about any part in this, completely destroy, a given part, and not only will the thing keep working, it'll repair itself too. It is extremely redundant. Everything is duplicated. And even these drawers here, you could have a drawer set up as a spare. And if an entire drawer goes down, it will actually rebuild the whole, a new drawer. Essentially, it'll just transfer what it can over. And being RAID, it's you lose a disk, big deal. You've got RAID. Anyway, this thing, according to the docs, is more or less a PC. It's not really a PC. I don't think you can actually run DOS on it. Maybe. That'd be an interesting thing to try. It's got a 2-line display, and apparently you can scroll up and down if you need to. You've got the scroll up and down arrows there. And you have a little 3.5-inch floppy. You've got this covered connector, which I don't know what that is. That's the D shell or something, but I don't think it's a DB25. I should pry that off at some point. You got a little place for your floppies. This is how you load microcode, because yes, like a lot of things IBM, you have to load the brain in. And it's also how you do maintenance. By this time, they've pretty much gotten rid of the big suitcase maintenance devices. Although while digging around, yes, this ES9000 came with 8-inch floppies. That's for the tape drive. We'll get to that at some point. But yeah, you can do all sorts of things with this. Now, the actual microcode, apparently, when it's in normal operation, it loads it from some of these drawers. It's spread out, in a RAID fashion on unused cylinders, and apparently can boot from that. So you don't actually have to boot from the floppy all the time, which is good. So in any case, 3.5-inch floppies here, pretty standard. Won't be a problem backing that stuff up. Going down, these are the controllers here, the actual controller cards. Do I have a flashlight here? No, I don't. Well, pardon the low light. There's actually not much to see because those are very much covered boards, but there are indeed 2 of them. And you can see 2 power supplies, double this, double that. And a lot of this is power supply stuff. These are the actual brains of the operation here. Got the back of the panel with all sorts of fun stuff. And yeah, like DASDs of this area, the drives of this area, you're basically emulating older drives, 3380s, 3390s. So that's kind of how that works. You can see there with the emulations and setting stuff up like that. Okay, so we got this neat little hidden door there. Let's walk around to the other side. Pardon the mess. There's the VAX. Haha, Mark, I have a VAX and you don't. All right, the back. The wires. Here we can see. Hey, I do have a flashlight. Look at that. Throws at least a little light out there. These are where the drawers fit in here. And they're the back of the drawers. And you can see they're actually pretty big. They fill out the rack. In fact, when this thing is fully loaded with drives, it weighs close to 1,700 pounds. When I moved this, I moved it on my trailer, so I had to ramp it up onto the trailer. I took the drives out because yeah, it's I think that each drawer is a little over 50 pounds. So okay, so maybe I had a total weight of 1,550 pounds, and taking all the drawers out, yeah, it was still, I don't know what, 1,000 pounds or so, close to. This is a heavy device. Got more power supply stuff, and yeah, you can see all those yellow cables, the data cables, they wind around, and yeah, you can see how they're, dual this, dual that. All right, more power supply. And then here is the actual, I think it's got my light in there. Sorry, it's a little blue, it's old LEDs here. But here are the channels. And as you can see, this has S-Con fiber. So yeah, it's my first time playing with fiber, so that's going to be fun. In fact, they give you this nice little this nice little box here to route your fiber, so you kind of like a strain relief. You open that door and you can see the ripples in there. That's so you can put your fiber in there, and if someone trips over the fiber, although I don't know why you do that because it'd probably be under the floor, you don't yank it out and break the fiber. And then way at the bottom, we have the dual AC. And yeah, this is indeed three-phase, which is not really a problem here because I have three-phase kicking around. I just have to find the connectors. I've got a whole bunch of twist locks. Those look like L14s or L15s. I'll have to look up, and then I'll have to see what I actually have on hand. I hope I don't have to buy those because they are kind of expensive. But yeah, if let's see, I don't actually have a three-phase drop here, but I'll just wheel this machine over and over to where there is a three-phase drop, and that's how I'll power up the ES9000. I'll just pull it. The ES9000 is not three-phase; it just needs 240. I'll just pull off 240 from a three-phase circuit somewhere. I'll just have to set that up. I'm getting kind of antsy, though, to power this thing up. Now that, things are sort of getting pulled together. Oh, one thing I did not notice until making this video, or prepping for this video. This little hatch here. There was documentation in there. There was a parts catalog and the maintenance manual, believe it or not. So, extremely happy about that. And in fact, what's this thing? A metal plate. I don't know what that's for. I have no idea what that's for. It's just a stainless steel plate. Okay, well, we don't know what that is, so we'll deal with that later. All right, well, let's look at a drawer, and then we'll wrap this video up. Oh, walking around. All right, here's the docks that I had found. Kind of nice. Okay, this is the back end of a drawer, and you can see that's I've got a fan, and that's where those yellow cables would go in there. And we got some cards here with kind of pretty contemporary technology happening here. This is a spare. I don't know if it's good or not. It was just laying around with the ES9000, so it was part of the deal, so I took it. Interesting that there's still some of the metal can chips there. No, that's not SLT, but it's some IBM-ish chip. But pretty much everything is pretty much your standard surface mount. We've got some disk cache there, and it looks like the power supply stuff is in the middle of the board there, or that middle board there, and a couple of unused things. I don't know what those, obviously unused because they have special covers on them. And you can see, yeah, the plugs into midway in the rack, plugs into another module. And the other module, excuse me, contains drives. So let's bring a drive down here. Contains, I think, 3 drives, and Well, not much to see here. It's a 3.5-inch drive. It's obviously, you can't use any old drive. It's got this nice stainless steel handle. Yeah, this stuff is built to last. None of these cheapo plastic things. No, we use stainless here. But yeah, these are the actual drives. I don't know what the actual technology is. I don't think they're SCSI. I need to look that up a little bit here, but they are indeed IBM drives, and IBM still made drives. So, okay, well, that much covers about the RAMAC2. Now, one thing that I did notice is, let's put that right over there. In the parts catalog, I found some of the invoicing when they first bought this system. The parts catalog is neat, in case I need to take this thing apart. Where is it? There we go. All right. Price list. Actually, these are some of the, you got a 256 meg cache, which costs $62,000. You got 4 SCON and perhaps 4 parallel ports. That would be the bus and tag. That option cost $10,000. The power cable was $5,000. $5,000. Now, apparently, the emulation, they threw that in free of charge. The low voltage power supplies, that was no charge. So, okay, what do we have? $77,000. That doesn't count the drives, nor the rack. Yeah, $627,000 for the rest of this box. So, this thing cost a hair over $700,000. Wow. Good thing I didn't pay for it. I guess if I think about it, I'll probably paid $100 for this. And maybe about $50. No, its share shipping was probably, yeah, shipping this thing was way more than with the purchase price. So, yeah, I probably spent like about $300 total on the RAMAC2 here. So, there we go. All right, getting off the floor here, and once again, sorry about the mess. There we have it, the RAMAC2 9394. So this thing, I hope, doesn't give me too many problems. I actually don't think it will. And these things stuck around a bit longer than ES9000s. These things were put on S390s, of course, from a few years after the ES9000. So I don't think there are very many of these things still in service. But it shouldn't be. I don't think it's going to be a problem. This is all fairly modern stuff. It's IBM stuff, so it's fairly bulletproof. The microcode should be okay on some disused cylinders. I think they're actually reserved cylinders on the discs. But hey, I've got 3.5-inch floppies there. Easy to image those things. And yeah, I'm oops, almost dropped my phone there. I'm almost ready to get this thing up and going, because I've got yeah, like I said, around here I don't actually see a drop within about 10 feet of here, so I'm gonna have to set up an area that I can put these two guys together, see if I can actually get this thing up and running. Then I have to deal with the tapes and then the printers. Oh, and then I suppose the communications boxes, the 3274s. So yep, lots of stuff I got to do. Alrighty. Well, hey, if you like this video, leave a like. Wow, this is just about my longest video. Just before I get kicked out of the partner program. Thanks, YouTube. So hey, leave a like. Maybe share this around. I'm on Twitter, Uniservo. Leave a like, leave a comment. Oh, I should say, I don't have much documentation. I'm very happy to get that service manual there. And I do have some other ES9000, specifically 9221 docs. Hey, I can use more. I could certainly use more. Give some screen time to the processor. Okay. Well, like I said, leave a like. Oh, and subscribe. Subscribe. And I shall talk to you later. Bye-bye.